To evacuate in a collegiate basketball tournament brings an economic boost to Pittsburgh. KWM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, high winds turn a grass fire into a destructive blaze for a nursing home in Yates Center, Kansas. Plus, an NCAA tournament brings an economic boost to the city of Pittsburgh, and a pair of Joplin nonprofits join forces to benefit the community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Dangerous fire this afternoon in Yates Center, Kansas. This is KWM News at 10. I'm Anthony Saviello. Details continue to come in, but sources say the fire has destroyed the Yates Center Health and Rehab Center. The residents, however, were evacuated and are safe. Officials say the fire stemmed from a grass fire which spread. Multiple crews were dispatched to help fight the fire, including Kansas Forest Service. At one point, the fire and smoke was so severe, local authorities turned traffic away on Highway 54 to Yates Center. Again, this is a developing story. We'll have more details on our website, kwmnewsnow.com, as they become available. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a wild Friday for us today. The extreme wind, we had winds gusting near 60 before the thunderstorms even got here. And then with the thunderstorms, we had winds pushing 70 miles per hour. Another warm one, 79 degrees. The record was 80, so just shy. 59 is our average high, so 20 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. Slide back through the 60s into the 50s. I think our overnight low near 50 degrees. We're going to have a cold front that shifts through later on tonight on the backside of this system, and that's going to cool us down just a bit. Ongoing severe weather central eastern parts of Missouri. We still have the winds out there, and the winds even by about midnight are going to be gusting 40 upwards to about 45. Thankfully, the winds will start to come down at least a little bit as we head into the weekend. Temperatures cool down as well. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks. Well, many communities in our area felt the impact of storms and high winds today. Oklahoma Highway Patrol suspended transportation of oversized loads after high winds knocked semi-trucks over. Residents in both Miami and Joplin experiencing power outages today. Liberty Utilities said at least 1,000 customers lost power around noon, including residents in West Mineral and Galena. Most of those customers regained power shortly after. The city of Miami, Oklahoma got a virtual visit this morning from Oklahoma U.S. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. The Miami City Council held a special meeting to discuss potential opportunities for the senator and his office to assist the city with ongoing flooding issues. The meeting follows years of flooding in Miami, an issue the city attributes to the Grand River Dam Authority and the Thin Pensacola project. Today, the senator's office heard concerns from the city council and discussed the next steps to resolve the flooding issues in Miami.
That's why I think it's important for us to sit down in the room and everybody put their cards on the table and let's just figure this out. It's important for the people. You know, the people I serve are the same people that Senator Mullen serves. And then GRDA serves those same people power. So those people are the important piece here.
The city of Miami is also in a civil lawsuit along with 456 local property owners seeking compensation from the GRDA. A topping out ceremony at MSSU brought out members of the public, staff, and students at the school, and even the governor of Missouri. The ceremony, where a beam signed by members of the campus community was set in place, took place at the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center and symbolized the completion of the center's structural framework. Governor Mike Kehoe said the building also served as a symbol for workforce development.
Taking them out of the classroom and giving them a hands-on ability in life sciences and all the different criteria that they'll be able to use in that building, it's a big difference. And you hear people talk about workforce development all the time, and I'd like to say this is a physical building that represents workforce development.
The Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center will offer students state-of-the-art educational facilities in addition to classrooms, laboratories, simulation spaces, and healthcare technologies to support students pursuing degrees in health sciences. With the NCAA tournament underway, local businesses are gearing up for the increase in traffic. Leaders at Explore Crawford County say the event brings people to Pittsburgh and benefits local businesses, boosting the local economy and contributing to things like sales tax. According to Explore Crawford County, Pittsburgh hotels reach more than 100,000 overnight stays a year, and big events like the NCAA tournament can contribute to that number. The owner of Toast says she's already started prepping by having more staff on hand for the weekend.
Schedule extra people just to be safe. We try to make extra of everything just so we don't run out.
Horton says with many students leaving Pittsburgh for spring break, local businesses often experience a slowdown, but visitors for the tournament help keep them bustling. Two Joplin nonprofits are merging, hoping to create a future together. One Joplin and Active Lifestyles events, known as ALLE, all came together for a passing of the baton ceremony. ALE is best known for supporting the Joplin Memorial Run, which ended last year. The organization planned on ending as well until leaders with One Joplin reached out about combining them to help support their health initiatives.
Once One Joplin approached us about a possible merger, it became a very easy decision because we knew that the passion that we brought to the table in our organization the legacy would be carried on in One Joplin.
The president of ALE plans to join the One Joplin team this year, further tying the two organizations together. The measles outbreak spreads to more states despite health departments calling to increase vaccinations. That story is coming up, but up first, tribal nations in 2 states sue the Trump administration for education layoffs.
Your wardrobe for spring. We can't wait to see you.
Several students and tribal nations are suing the Trump administration over layoffs at 2 Native American colleges in Kansas and New Mexico. Lily O'Shea Becker spoke with a student who says the layoffs impacted her education.
Speaking on behalf of Indian country, we feel as if we're just not important.
Indigenous education is important to Ella Bowen. That's why she chose to go to Haskell Indian Nations University.
I'd really love to go back home on the reservation and teach for my people.
Ella is one of 4 Haskell students, in addition to 3 tribal nations, suing the Trump administration.
What's the end game here?
Justice.
The tribal nations allege in the lawsuit they were not consulted before more than 30 employees were laid off, which they say current law requires the federal government to do.
We're ready to fight for what's ours, and we're not scared of going against the government anymore. It's really time to get justice for our people.
Last week, a spokesperson for Kansas Senator Jerry Moran told KSHB 41 the Department of Interior said it intends to hire back 14 of the terminated employees.
We want our staff and faculty back here on campus.
Ella is still without her academic advisor.
That has really left me clueless as to what my next steps in my education were.
And she said the layoffs have impacted her education.
One of my professors, he had to take up extra classes. So I know he's had to make sacrifices here and there, and it cuts into my class.
But Ella's not giving up.
I'm really dedicated to Haskell, and this is why I'm fighting so hard, is because this is where I want to receive my 4-year degree. This is where I want to send my kids to in the future.
The lawsuit aims to get the staff hired back. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Indian Affairs says it does not comment on pending litigation. Doug returns next with a complete look at your forecast, and a little later, the Food and Drug Administration issues its flu vaccine recommendations for the next year.
For PCT's
are only at Roper Honda.
Well, another warm one for us today, and of course wild across the region with all the winds that we saw all day long. And it looks like as we go through the overnight hours tonight, the winds are going to be sticking around. Temperatures dropping off a little bit. We should eventually make it down to about 50 degrees. There's a lot of dust in the air too, so when you get up in the morning, if your car is very dusty, that is due to all the dirt that it picked up as this storm system moved through New Mexico, parts of Texas, into Oklahoma, across the entire southern plains. All right, winds still gusty, especially the next several hours. Gusts 40, upwards to about 45. Good news here is by, let's say, mid-morning, our wind gusts down near 20. And that's where they're going to stay as we go through the entire daytime hours on Saturday. It's still going to be breezy. It's just not going to be super windy like we did see today. Now, the humidity is very low, so that's why we've had fires across the region. We still have the fire danger as we go through the overnight hours. Good news here, humidity levels start to come up late tonight and then as we head into the weekend. But a monster storm system, ongoing severe weather, central eastern parts of Missouri. It's all going to shift down into Mississippi and Alabama as we get into the daytime hours on Saturday. For us, not too much going on. We do get clouds increasing, especially through the morning hours. Let's go mostly cloudy skies on your Saturday. Could get a random sprinkle during the morning hours, but a little better shot late in the day. The clouds kind of thicken up. Here's 5 p.m. Most of us, 56 Fort Scott, 62 in Miami, 62 in Anderson, 59 in Lamar. But a couple little sprinkles, maybe a random shower, and then we clear out tomorrow night. We drop back kind of cold, 33, 34 degrees. But Sunday overall, pretty good. It's going to be chilly, but not bad. Most of us 56, 57, or 58 degrees for an afternoon high. So here's your weekend broken down. 60 Saturday, yes, cooler and some sprinkles. More sunshine, though, on Sunday and a high temp of 57 degrees as we get into Sunday afternoon. It does warm back up, but at the same time, the winds are going to return. Southerly winds start to get breezy again by Monday, but in return, our temperatures should go into lower 70s for afternoon highs. Much of the same on Tuesday, even windier. But again, our temperatures back into low to mid 70s for highs. We have a storm system that passes by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We could get a few thunderstorms, but as that colder air works in, we'll have to see if it can mix with, maybe change over to a little bit of snow, and then we cool down behind that system as we go into Wednesday. So we stay fairly active heading into next week. 60 on your Saturday, 57 on Sunday, 70s. Monday and Tuesday, the chance for rain on Wednesday. And then again on Friday, just kind of up and down all next week. Anthony?
All right, Doug, thanks. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch Weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch Weather app. Measles outbreak continues to spread across the southern and western U.S., reaching nearly 260 cases in 3 states. Amid the rising infections, state health departments are urging people to get vaccinated. Those calls happening as the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary continues to downplay vaccine effectiveness and safety. Reporter Michael Yoshida has the story.
The deadly measles outbreak growing to 258 cases across 3 states. According to local health data, as of March 11th, there were 223 reported cases in Texas, 33 cases in New Mexico, and 2 cases in Oklahoma. State health departments and medical experts urging people to get vaccinated.
The vaccine is one of the safest, most effective vaccines we have. And 90% protection in 1 dose, 97% protection in 2 doses. Oftentimes it will give you lifelong immunity. Sometimes there'll be some slight waning.
Amid calls for more vaccinations to help slow the spread, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. downplaying the safety and long-term effectiveness of the vaccine.
When you and I were kids, everybody got measles. And measles gave you lifetime protection against measles infection. The vaccine doesn't do that. The vaccine is effective for some people for life, but many people, it wanes.
Kennedy's comments drawing sharp rebuke from experts.
The head of health leadership in this country bungling basic facts at best and sharing outright lies at worst.
While there is some disagreement among experts about how much protection may wane, if at all, they all agree in most cases the measles vaccine does give lifelong immunity against the virus. This year's outbreak, mostly among children and driven largely by unvaccinated populations, is only the 3rd time since 2000 where cases have risen above 200. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Today, the White House withdrew its nomination of Dr. Dave Weldon to serve as the director of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Weldon's previous comments expressing vaccine skepticism raised concerns among health experts. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment and the Stevens County Health Department have reported a positive case of measles in a resident of Stevens County. This incident marks the first measles case in Kansas since 2018. It is currently unknown whether this case is linked to any ongoing measles outbreaks in the United States. A study on long COVID found more than half of people who developed it have symptoms for at least 2 years. The Barcelona Institute for Global Health also found risk factors for long COVID include being female, getting a severe COVID infection, or having a pre-existing chronic disease. Vaccination reduces the risk of developing long COVID. The Food and Drug Administration issues its flu vaccine recommendations for 2025 into 2026. The FDA says vaccines for the upcoming respiratory virus season should be trivalent. That means to protect against 2 strains of influenza A and 1 of influenza B. To make the decision, the FDA brought together its own experts along with ones from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Department of Defense. Still ahead, 2 of our local high school basketball teams try to advance their way to the state championship. And Pitt State women's basketball plays its first NCAA tournament game. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
We're celebrating 80 years of innovation.
When you finance with GM Financial. See your Mocan Chevy dealer today.
Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales, and the NCAA Division II Women's Basketball Tournament gets tipped off today in Pittsburgh. John Lance Arena is the site for 4 different regional quarterfinals. Pittsburgh State faces Harding in the first round of the NCAA Tournament for the 2nd year in a row. First points of the night belong to PSU, courtesy of a Corinna Gerber hook shot down low. Couple of possessions later, here's Gerber again. She gets fouled and the shot drops. She'd scored 21 points in just the first half, but the Bisons show they came here to play. Second quarter, Josie Williams knocks in a triple. That pulls them within 2. And a couple minutes later, Aubrey Isbell attacks the basket and scores. Harding would lead 46-44 at halftime. Third quarter is when the Gorillas start to get in a groove though. Macy Mays powers her way inside, gets fouled, and scores. She'd convert the 3-point play to put Pitt State up by 5. Next time down the floor, Grace Pyle lets it go from deep and buries it. Harding has to call timeout. The lead is up to 8. We go on to the fourth quarter. Pitt State still in front. Hannah Nilgis shoots a deep 3 and hits it. Largest lead of the night. Pitt State up by 16. Final minute of the game. Gorillas making the extra pass a couple of times, and Savannah Campbell puts the finishing touches on this one. Pitt State avenges its first round loss from a year ago. Gorillas take down Harding 87-75.
Macy made a shot, got the and one, right? You stampede on the baseline, got an and one, and plays like that, they get momentum, they get energy. When you can put together a run and the other team has to call timeout, you get to the bench and you rah-rah. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. Our energy shifted. That was when we left the huddle. We're like, you got to get the energy to shift, and we did that.
Meanwhile, Kansas high school basketball state tournaments are into the semifinals today. 2 of our local teams try to advance to the championship round. We'll start with Galena boys basketball in the 3A state semifinals. That's where the Bulldogs pick up their first loss of the season, 60-42 to Heston. Great undefeated run for Galena, who's not quite done yet. Bulldogs will face Silver Lake in the 3rd place game tomorrow. That tips off at 2 p.m. Then over in Manhattan, this one was an instant classic, but also a heartbreaker as Colgan girls basketball goes to double overtime against Donovan West and comes up just 1 point short. Final score 61-60. Lady Panthers battled down to the very final second. They'll face Inman in the 3rd place game. That's tomorrow afternoon at 2. And it's a busy Friday over at Pittsburgh State. Not only do the Gorillas host the NCAA basketball tournament, they've also got a softball doubleheader. In Game 1, Pittsburgh State takes on Northern State, and we've got some very windy conditions in the first inning. That doesn't stop Amaya Snyder from hitting this bomb to right field. That one is gone. Gorillas lead 3-0 after 1 inning of play. The Wolves' Maddie Jones responds with a solo homer in the second, but Ava Laurent in the circle, she remains composed and gets the next batter to ground out over to short. Later on in that inning, runner on second, and Laurent strikes out Courtney Hennon to get out of a jam. Bottom of the frame, the game gets delayed due to lightning in the area, but when they return, the Gorillas pick up right where they left off, score 12 more runs. They win it 15-1 after just 5 innings. More of the same in Game 2. Pittsburgh State mercy rules the Wolves again in 5 innings. 14-1, the final score in this one. The Gorillas, they've got another doubleheader tomorrow against Minnesota State Moorhead. And the Gorilla basketball team's also facing Minnesota State. That contest tomorrow evening at 7:30. And it's an exciting time of year for them. If you lose any of these games, your season's done. But the Gorillas keep on winning. They move on.
What do you think the Gorillas really have to do to keep it moving forward?
Right now, I think they just got to keep playing their game. They're the #1 seed for a region. They're hosting this regional for a reason, and they're playing very good basketball, playing as well as they have all year.
Yeah. And it's super cool to see them down at half, even if it is by 2 points, and come back and have such a big lead at the end.
Yeah, Amanda David, she said they weren't used to playing from behind, so that was a little bit of a culture shock maybe in the locker rooms, but they came back out in the third quarter and looked great.
Yeah, love to see it. We'll be right back.
Need a new CPA? Are you looking for a tax preparer who will answer your questions?
Well, it stays super windy for us tonight, so that fire danger continues tonight, but it goes down tomorrow. Humidity kind of rebounds a bit. Temperature's not bad, 60. Could get a few sprinkles, but that is right where we should be for this time of the year. 57 on Sunday, 70s return Monday and Tuesday. Rain chances return Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Home and garden inspiration filled Grove as visitors explored the latest trends in home building, remodeling, and landscaping. Experts were on hand to share tips, while attendees enjoyed ideas for fun and recreation across the lake region.
Oh my gosh, it's busy and exhausting, but a whole lot of fun. We get to meet up with some people that we've known for a long, long time and meet new people.
Sponsored by local businesses, the events showcased innovative ways to bring home and garden dreams to life. And a great day for Pitt State, for sure.
Great day for Pitt State, and we got a busy Saturday full of basketball as well. So Colgan and Galena, obviously both of them were hoping to win tonight, but even after both of them lose, third place game tomorrow at 2 for each of them. And then the Pitt State women, they play again tomorrow at 7:30. If they keep winning, they'll keep playing.
Best of luck to all of them, for sure. All right, that's our time for now. Have a great night.